Hey everyone, once again I want to focus on the long view, to look beyond the current bumpy road and consider what's on the horizon. Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest hockey players of all time, once said that he skates to where the puck is going to be, not to where it's been. And that concept is key for commercial real estate investors. We need to look forward and figure out where our puck will be. To do that, I focused on the economy, which of course strongly influences all types of commercial real estate demand. And 2/3 of the US economy is driven by consumption. Consumption includes both retail sales, which is about 40% of the total, and services expenditures, which is about 60% of the total. And all of that is driven by spending, which is, of course, influenced by income. So the big question I asked myself was, who earns the most and who spends the most? The winner was the 45 to 54-year-old segment. That makes sense because that's the point in people's lives when their career has solidified and their income is accelerated, but it's before they start to lock down their spending for retirement. People between 35 and 44 came in second, followed by the 55 to 64-year-old age group. And as I thought about those age groups, it occurred to me that the largest US age cohort is the millennial generation. Millennials were born between 1981 and 1996, so they're between 28 and 43 years old. So the 72.2 million millennials are right on the verge of entering the consumption sweet spot. Over the next 5 years, the number of people in the US who are in the prime spending age range of 45 to 54 years old will grow by 1.6 million people. And the number of people in the 35 to 44 age range, which spends the second most, will increase by 1.3 million people. And it gets even better in the 5 years after that. 10 years from now, the total number of people between 35 and 54 years old will be 5 million more than it is today. What that tells me is this: the US economic growth outlook remains strong over the next 10 years. Yes, there will be bumps in the road and there could be short-term downswings along the way, but over the course of the next decade, the tide will be rising. Now, let me toss in two other significant factors that I think will amplify the economic growth over the next 10 years. First is reshoring and nearshoring. I've done other videos on this topic in the past, so I won't go into detail here, but I think that as manufacturing comes back to North America, it will bolster the demographics-driven economic momentum. The second factor that will amplify the economy will be the transfer of wealth from the baby boom generation to their children, mostly in the millennial generation. Over the next 10 years, 3.5 million baby boomers will turn 85. And the baby boom generation is the wealthiest generation in our country's history. As the baby boom generation ages, they'll initiate a massive wealth transfer estimated to be between $70 and $90 trillion. And they'll be handing all of that money to people in their prime spending years. So I believe these trends bode well for commercial real estate space demand. The increased wealth and spending will drive space needs for retail, self-storage, industrial space, hotels, and even apartments. So as we consider what's happening in the market today, tracking the Fed and inflation and the election and recession risk, we as investors can't lose sight of the giant wave of economic momentum that's coming at us. As always, we need to keep our eyes on the horizon.